Hello again. In this video tutorial we are going to use a backdrop which is not in the library but one that we will download from Google Images. So we're going to make a maze, a kind of a Pac-Man style game, but not exactly the same. And for that we will need a backdrop of the maze. So I'm going to look for maze and then images, and then inside images las herramientas de búsqueda can let me choose the kind of maze like imagen prediseñada, and then I should even go further and choose one with a right license. So I'm going to use one labeled for non-commercial use. So we got those mazes. Well, I guess any of these would do. So I right click and I would save the image. There it is. Now if we look at this, we see it's a 1280 times 698 pixels, and that's not what our backdrops dimensions should be. So we can see a backdrop in Scratch is 480 times 360. Fortunately, we already got an image editor to change those dimensions included in this Linux distribution. So if we go to places and downloads and we right click, we can open with editor de imágenes GIMP. And then under imagen we can escalar la imagen. As we are not keeping these proportions, we open the chain and here we should have 480 times 360. Then scale and export as, well, we'll keep the same name, and then close the application. Now we can upload it like this, and as you see it fits the screen completely. Now we should make our cat small enough so it can go through the maze, and here comes one very common mistake, which is using the editor in customs to change the size. Now this would change the size to one of them but not the other, and if we want to animate it by using both customs as frames, then both should have the same dimensions. So I'm going to undo and get back and use the right tool, which is this shrink button that would shrink both of them. So now I will place it at the start, and then, well, I should be able to move the cat. We already know how to, and this is when the right arrow key press, it's going to point right and move and change custom, and then when the left arrow key press, it's going to point left and move, and so, and now we are also going to move up and down. So we duplicate it, and we go with it when the up arrow key is pressed, point up, and when the down arrow key pressed, point down. Now we're going to keep the rotation style left and right, so it doesn't go upside down when moving left. Okay, so now we can move the cat all through the labyrinth, but it's not bouncing on the walls. So how can we make it bounce on the walls? Well, we can make it bounce on the walls, or we can make the touch of the wall send the cat back to the start point. And for that we will be using something like touching the color of the wall, because the walls are all the same black color, and under sensing we already got a touching color. So we're going to pick the color, and we do it by clicking on the color square, and when it changes into a hand we go and click on the color we want to pick. So we have already picked the black one, and then under control we are using the if statement. If touching color, then what? Then I would say going back to the original starting position. That should be under motion. That should be a go to. If we keep the go to here on this column and drag the sprite, the coordinates change to precisely where the new position of the cat is. So if we put it at the start, then we got those coordinates. But now we should pay attention and see that the cat is already touching black, because there's this black arrow. We're going to edit it out. Now the F command here, as always, means checking for this condition to be true once, so we have to include it in a forever loop, and this forever loop should start as always when everything starts when the green flag is clicked. So now we're going to the backdrop, and we're going to use the drawing tools to erase the arrow. This and this one. Okay, so now let's check if this works. So when we are moving, if we touch the black one, we are going back to our starting position, and we can actually move through the maze if we are careful enough. Well, we have to be a little bit more careful than that. Oops. Can I pass through here? Not really. Then that means our steps are too many. So let's change the 10 steps here to 5, so we can move in shorter displacements and get a more precise motion to go through the narrow places. Okay, let's try it now. Yeah, it goes a little slower now. Okay, now I should be able to get to the other end. Okay, that was the first part of the maze.